What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Here we are at about $600 with roughly 7 hours and 57 minutes left in the day. We've seen a low as of yesterday all the way down at about $576, which is just barely below what we were expecting, right? We were expecting 580, give or take like $2 in either direction, right? 582, 578. We went to 576, perfect. It's the exact area that we were looking to find support. And the reason why we were expecting to find support there is if you take a low, a relative low to the relative high here, that is just below our 382. It's just below these lows, and that was the theory, is that we'll go just below these lows. Maybe that entices some people to sell if they panic sell, whatever. And then we find support there. Really, we're just at the 382. It's very common to wick below the 382 and close above it whenever you're finding support. So this, to me, does look like we're finding support at prior resistance here, prior support here, turbulent areas. You know, it's not the most significant area price perspective wise, but from a fib perspective, it's actually very significant. It's the exact area that you'd expect to find support. And then also, throughout the kind of endeavors of this whole channel, if we were to put a line of best fit here, it's kind of at the lower ends of this area here. Maybe if we were to do something like that, it makes sense. Or if we were to fit it to these lows here, we're a little bit below, but we've done this before. And we can still recover. I'm really not intimidated by this. I wouldn't call this a lower low. Yes, it is a lower low compared to this, but I think we're still in higher low territory, holding the 382 as support here. My expectation is entire. What's the word I want to use? I'm very confident that we found support here. I don't think that we go lower. I think that low at 574 was the low. I think that was it. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, getting into this, it is the weekend, right? It is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, tomorrow. We're probably not going to move too far from wherever we close today. So, I mean, we've moved up a little bit today. Being that it's Friday, we've moved up a little bit, but we're kind of moving sideways, being boring. I wouldn't be surprised at all if come Monday, which is all the way over here, if we were basically at the same place. Maybe we come down a little bit and then we come back up. Maybe we come up a little bit, we come back down. Maybe we're just a little bit higher. Maybe we're just a little bit lower. But however it might be, we're going to be very, very near where we are now. I don't expect too much action to take place over the coming days. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a very exciting weekend. But that's the stance I'm taking. 1 hour time frame here. The RSI is completely neutral. There's some bearish emphasis here, but it is pretty neutral. Stochastics are bullish, but you're at this high point. Typically, whenever you're up here, you do reset and you come back down. You don't typically linger, though, so this is where it's a little bit more bullish than it has been over the past few times. And the MACD is probably not dependable at this point in time. I wouldn't get too excited or discouraged by it. 4 hour time frame here. Stochastics are weird. The MACD has bullish divergence. We actually have very nice bullish divergence all the way through, so that's awesome. That should suggest that we move up from here. As you're moving down, volume is just dying off. We had some volume grow here, but that was on the pump. Whenever you dumped down, I mean, your volume's just slowly been sliding off a cliff, and now it's non-existent. I think that we'll probably recover with ease. We will probably recover with ease. I just don't know if it happens today or tomorrow. But if I'm being honest, looking at this MACD, it kind of makes me think that it would be today or tomorrow that we'd recover. So maybe I misspoke whenever I said come Monday we're right here. Maybe come Monday we're at 625 or we're at 640. Oh no. I mean, that's honestly, looking at this 4 hour time frame, I could see that happen. I really could, just because of this bullish divergence. I mean, we had very nice bullish divergence here. We moved up pretty immediately thereafter. We did move down. A little bit of bullish divergence here. You moved up pretty immediately thereafter. A little bullish divergence there, pretty immediately thereafter as well. You didn't linger and move sideways over the weekend like I was calling for, and then on Monday you pumped. So maybe we do get a little weekend pump. That's exciting. That's good. I love seeing a weekend pump. Weekend pumps stand out a little bit more too, because everything else is being boring. So whenever a crypto stands out, I think that's great, especially whenever we're invested in it, right? Bitcoin Cash. If it stands out, it's in the top 100, it's a top gainer. Everybody goes on CoinMarketCap. They check the top 100 ranking, and they click what's doing the best over the past seven days by percentage or 24 hours. Bitcoin Cash will be at the top of that list. if this this bullish divergence holds true, and I think it will. I think it will. But if it doesn't, in the worst case scenario, right? Maybe the bullish divergence doesn't come true. Maybe we don't bounce right now like we did the last few times, whatever. The worst case scenario is that we just move sideways and we do exactly what I was saying a second ago, which is we'll just be here on Monday, right? I doubt we plummet. I highly doubt that. Maybe we could see a slightly lower low. That doesn't mean that we're plummeting, right? That can happen, but I doubt it. I'm calling for this to be the low, and I think we'll move from here and then move up. Or we might just move up right now. I guess actually right now I'm more shifted to thinking today or tomorrow we will be moving back up a little bit. I don't think that we're going to be at higher prices than 680 before the end of this week, but sometime next week, yeah, we should be getting above this high. By the end of this week, over the next couple of days until Sunday's over, I would expect that we are probably back around 620 to 650, somewhere in that range, probably. Before next week starts, I would expect that, just based off the MACD. Daily time frame here, looking at this, the MACD overall is very bullish, very, very bullish. You are building some bearish momentum now, but you're very, very bullish. The stochastics have reset entirely. I mean, the last time, let's just put some lines out here. Here, you're oversold. The last time you got oversold was here. Time before that was right there. Time before that was right there. Time before that was right there. Time before that was, I guess, once you got oversold was right here. You still had some dropping to go, right? Time before that, once you got oversold was here. Once you got out of it was over here. I mean, you were at relative low points here. Overall, a relative high zone you did pull back from. But even here, you were once you got oversold in the stochastics here, you're at the relative low points. Came up, lower high, still went lower. Here, relative low points here, relative low, relative low, relative low, relative low, probably. Even if we are to plummet down, we probably find a relative low here, and then we could check back later. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think we're in an uptrend. We're at a relative low point here on the low ends of the trend. Surprise, surprise. The indicators are saying it. Our eyeballs are saying it. It just makes sense that we probably do move up from here. The MACD, again, is very bullish. I like that the oscillators have come back to the zero to reset. This is a good thing. The stochastics have reset. This is a good thing. And then the daily RSI, bouncing off the 40, that's awesome. I mean, how many times do we bounce off the 40 and it does well for us? Whether we bounce right off it like we did here, or just above it, or even just below it. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. You know, both as resistance and as support. Support, support, support. Support just below, support right there. Support, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, support, support, resistance, right? It's a very significant level, more or less, especially recently. I think that we're right at the 382. I think we're right at the perfect point. So yes, the low is in. We should be moving up. I'm just going to take all my Bitcoin cashes and go 10x long right now. No, I'm not. That's a joke, guys. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but you shouldn't leverage trade your life savings. You shouldn't do it. With that being said, though, I mean, just for funsies, okay? Let's just pretend that we're degenerates and we're leverage traders, okay? Let's just pretend that that's what we're doing. I leverage trade. I leverage trade for fun. It works out a good bit of the time, but sometimes it doesn't. I'm in a moment now where I'm just taking a break from leverage trading, waiting for an obvious move. And I've honestly considered going long on Bitcoin Cash because it is so obvious. Let me just explain my logic. If I did a 2x leverage, it's a very low leverage, we would need to see about, it probably would have to go down just below these lows before my position got liquidated. Because it doesn't liquidate you completely when you're out of cash. It liquidates you when you're like 50% through. If you're using a lot of these dexes to, these trading dexes to trade, it's typically at that 50% mark, not at the 100% mark, right? Like a 2x leverage, technically you get cleared out at 50%. If that was the case, if that was my liquidation level, that's pretty safe. I highly doubt Bitcoin Cash goes below 300. Nothing's guaranteed. But even this is pretty safe. I highly doubt we go below these lows. But even with that, I'm not leverage trading. I'm not putting a 2x leverage in here because, again, Bitcoin Cash is my biggest bag. I'm not going to gamble with that. But again, you can hear where it's kind of enticing is the thought of like, okay, so I could take my biggest bag, effectively double it in size, which would then double any of the gains that come from here. And the risk is only realized if we go below these lows. I'm pretty convinced that that's a safe bet to make. I'm pretty convinced, right? That's the only reason I'm sharing it here. I'm not going to do it because it's not good risk management. What if I'm wrong? Well, at least I still have my Bitcoin Cash, and now I can buy more and add to the stack here. Where if I long up here, if I go 2x and it goes down here, I get liquidated. I have less Bitcoin Cash, and now any that I buy on discount, I'm just buying back from my lost position up here. So it's not risk averse. You should be risk averse with your life savings. And I think Bitcoin Cash just holding it's good enough. I mean, the amount of gains we're going to see in itself are great. But I said what I said. I meant what I said. I do think that we are going to move up. I do think. I mean, if I was to leverage trade this, maybe with a smaller position, I think that this is a pretty good area to go into. I mean, you're back testing prior resistance for support. We're probably going to rally. I'm just going to be a chicken right now. You have to wait for moments to be super obvious, and this is super obvious. But again, the way that the only reason I'm talking myself out of it is, and hopefully you guys too, is that we're about to get a 4x to 5x, maybe a 6x move. That to me is enough. I mean that's fine. We've been waiting enough time. I'm okay with that. I don't need leverage if that's what we're getting. Anyways, don't do the math on what that would be if you did leverage trade though. That'll just entice you more. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Don't leverage trade your stuff, please. Please. If you do it, understand, treat it like gambling. Treat it like something like that. And if you were to gamble, if you were to go to Vegas, you wouldn't take your life savings with you to Vegas. If you do, you're a degenerate, right? Don't be a degenerate. It's okay to leverage trade if you want to, but use very small amounts. There's no, if you can successfully leverage trade, start with 1% of your portfolio. Start with 0.5%, because if you can successfully do it, you should be able to double your portfolio with that alone in a matter of time, right? And if not, if you lose that, well, good. It's only 0.5% or 1%. It's nothing too significant that you can't come back from, right? Anyways, hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Total tangent that we don't normally go down. Leverage is a big taboo no in these parts of the woods, but it's just a thought nonetheless that we ran with there. Very much expecting that we recover, very much expecting that we have a low, and that, I mean, honestly, if I'm just looking at the charts for what they are, I wouldn't be surprised if we moved up right now. Originally, I was thinking the next couple of days will be boring. I think they'll be exciting, more or less. Not like crazy exciting, just to 620, 650, somewhere in that range. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button. Take care. Thank you all. Bye-bye.